welcome back to the Voyages of here on Rook and Rasp. I should pull up my script. There we go. I'm really good at this, I promise. Every week, guys, I get a little worse. Uh, we'll be following the story of the USS Serenitatis as it continues its mission to explore the Gamma Quadrant. We're using the Star Trek Adventures RPG from Modiphius. As a reminder, we're in no way affiliated with Modiphius. We just really enjoy their game. I'm Matt, and I am joined by Sean playing Commander Rory Vallon, our first officer. Rob playing Lieutenant Commander Alani Bex, our Chief of Security. Phil playing Lieutenant Commander Tobin Perrin, our Chief of Engineering. And Sarah playing Lieutenant Commander Charlie, playing our Ops Manager. You don't get to be a security lead. You just have to, or a section lead. You just get a manager position. So
I get to see cool people. I get to go to work with my friends.
Hey, thank you for joining us all. We really enjoy this. We are like 6 episodes into this part of the season. We're going to be running this through the middle of next month, and then we'll pop off for a few months, and then we'll be back in July. But if you haven't had a chance to, you should definitely head over to our YouTube channel and see all of the stuff we've got there, because there's definitely more Star Trek over there. I'm going to see if I can get it into the chat, because I'm good at this. Haha, look at that. So definitely check those out. There's definitely stuff over there to watch. There's a bunch of clips on here as well, and we think they're hilarious, mostly because we were just being dumb. But that makes it even funnier. Last week we left off with some fun. It was a lot of fun, right, guys?
Yeah, I can't remember. Get it? Can't remember.
Oh, gee. We lost a beloved NPC, Levram. So that was fun. Hey, thanks, Belial Azazel, for your subscription. Also for Bink. I appreciate you guys both. But we really do appreciate everybody that likes and subscribes. If you haven't liked us already or followed us, please click that. And then if you want to subscribe, you get a free Amazon Prime subscription right now, so you might check that out. That's always worth taking money out of Amazon's pocket to put it back in Amazon pocket, but also a little bit in ours. So that's a good part. Let's go ahead and get into the captain's log, which I will be reading, or I will be reciting because I didn't write it down. That was super helpful. Captain's log, Captain Halata of the USS Serenitatis reporting. We have been sent on a mission to investigate a power signal coming from an uninhabited planet. This system has not been properly charted yet, but Starfleet thought that this would be an important item to look into. So that's where we're going to start. You guys have come to. Hey, I've got this written down now. I'm actually prepared sometimes. There's a planet. You come to Kebravnov 2, which is an M-class planet. It's the second planet of the Kebravnov. Put an extra V in there. The Kebravnov system. There are 6 planets in the system. 2 of them probably could support life, including this one. But you are reading a power signature from the planet. It's powerful enough to maybe power a small starship or a settlement of some sort. But as far as long range sensors showed, this planet was uninhabited. So let's go ahead and start off. You guys have 4 momentum and 8 threat. Why don't we start off with asking our ops manager to do a sensor sweep. So reason and science, it's going to be a difficulty of 1. And the ship can assist if someone would like to, and I believe it's sensors and science. Yeah.
I can go ahead and do that. I have the stats here.
Fantastic.
That is 1 success from the ship, and Sarah, you are muted.
Sorry. I have 1 crit, and 17. So 2 successes plus yours is 3.
Okay, fantastic. That's going to
Mazel
cap you
tov.
guys on momentum. There is, as you are approaching the planet, there is definitely a power source coming from the surface. Um, it's located on the southern hemisphere on a Australia-sized continent. Um, I'm not going to measure it in miles or in meters because we always do everything in some other form of measurement.
How many horses is it?
It is 37 million horses long.
My
Yes.
favorite measurement that I've heard about is an asteroid half the size of a giraffe almost hit New York today. And someone goes, the giraffe, the most lopsided animal. What half of a giraffe?
It was just a really long stick. You are picking up life signs. There's something going on with the scan that is making it hard for you to detect what kind. But they're not just in the settlement. There are kind of life signs all over, which wouldn't be out of the question. It is a M-class planet. You do have momentum if you wanted to spend some for more information.
I do.
Fantastic. As you're kind of scanning, what you're noticing is that there, near the power source, there is a cluster of life signs, and from the look of them compared to the others, they seem to be humanoid. I think that's going to be good. Yeah, that's the information you need.
Can the sensors detect anything else about their atmosphere that we might need to know about?
The nitrogen is just a tiny bit higher than Earth, but that shouldn't be a problem. Gravity's like 1.1, so just a slight bit heavier than Earth. Not really all that exciting. The water seems palatable. There's no like concerning parasites or microbacteria in the water. It is relatively large oceans, though. There are 3 continents. The one that you're looking at is the largest of the 3.
Charlie's just going to wrap up the information and look at the commander and be like, Commander, it's an M-class planet. It looks like its environment seems to be up to Terran standards. I have no other information that's relevant at this time.
And we don't have any reports of any Federation ships is being lost in the system to account for.
No, this is kind of out of the way from any of the early skirmishes with the Dominion. However, there are still lots of ships unaccounted for that were transport ships or smaller private, like combat capable ships. A lot of that's the wrong word. Settlers, not colonizers. Settlers. A lot of settlers came through the wormhole for a while, and also a lot of science teams. It's a whole area to explore. So a lot of those ships, hundreds of ships came through. So probably 75 are missing. Some of them are just weird space stuff. Some of them are pretty clearly Dominion, and then there are a chunk of them that nobody knows what happened to them.
And Commander Charlie, do we have any way to discern the power signature? Is it Dominion? Is it unknown?
Matt, would the basic readings be able to tell me that?
With as far away as you are, not right now. You need to get closer. Also, happy birthday to Rook and Rasp. It's our 8th birthday on YouTube. Which is fantastic.
Happy birthday to us.
Yeah.
We will have to get closer for me to determine any kind of readings on the power source.
Once we achieve standard orbit, let's make that a priority to see if we're dealing with Dominion or a known entity. I don't want to stumble onto another Davidian group.
Mm-hmm.
On that note, so Matt, as we're getting closer, I'm going to start a second scan, just looking for tachyon particles, any kind of chronometric particles, any flying clocks or phone booths.
Everything that you're scanning is standard background radiation. Like there are tachyons and chronoton particles, but they're at such a slow, low level, it's pretty natural. I do want you guys to know that I'm spending 2 threat As you get close to the planet, several weapon platforms uncloak and begin to fire. So
All
Shields
right.
up,
we're going to
alert.
shoot you now.
Good thing
I
I
am-
scanned.
I am going to use one of my talents, Matt.
Yeah.
No hesitation. At the start of any round in an action scene, I may add one threat to take the first turn, regardless of who would have acted first. Basically,
Go
the way
ahead.
I
Yeah, no,
the
that's
way
fine.
the way I want to justify that is the ship's decloak, and all of a sudden I get the kind of itch in the back of my head. Someone means us harm, and I just have a big red button on my desk that says shields.
Sure. No, that's fair. So you throw shields up? That's your
Yes.
action? Cool.
Yep.
That's a perfect action.
And you
That
do
doesn't-
gain one threat for that.
Fantastic. That puts me back at 7. I like 7. 7's a good number. So the shields are going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 damage, and then 1 damage goes all automatically through and hits the structure. And this is not one platform; this is
Of our
several
ship.
platforms firing.
Who is keeping track of the ship information?
Good question.
Well, that would be me because I'm
Yeah,
ops.
you're the manager.
I quit.
Um,
I just don't know the rules well enough. You don't want to put me in charge of that.
the other thing to note is that there are, of course, explosions on the bridge, and the pilot is knocked out of her chair and onto the ground, and seems to be unconscious.
I'm gonna
That's no bueno.
jump up, leap over the seat, and start performing evasive actions.
Perfect. So it would be your guys' turn. What would you like to do?
We can only do one action, though, right?
Technically.
Okay.
Well, you get a
Yeah.
minor action and a major action. So if you wanted to, you could use your minor to move and your major to evade.
Yeah, it was more along the lines of trying to raise someone up on comms, but I think we're just going to get out of range of those platforms, zigzagging, delta patterns, that kind of stuff.
So you want to take evasive actions as your turn?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Man, I should have that pulled up. I didn't think about that part. Let me go grab the sheet that tells us what everything is. Let me see if I can find the sheet. Where did I put the sheet?
In the linen closet.
Sheet. It's here somewhere. I know it is. Is it under visuals?
Have you checked the bed?
It's always the linen closet.
It's probably in this folder called In-Play References. Good job, Matt. You
There's
named it
always
exactly.
money in the banana stand.
It is daring and con. It's going to be a difficulty at 2. It does require the use of 1 power, and it is the ship assists with structure and con.
Okay, and then my focus of evasive action will apply.
Yes. Sorry, you said focus. I heard talent, and I didn't know what the talent did. Yes, the focus does absolutely apply.
All right.
Be a little upset if it didn't.
Should we buy dice? What am I
Yeah.
looking for? What is the
Difficulty is 2.
2?
And what will that do for us?
It's going to make it harder to hit you. So instead of needing 1 right now, probably 2 by the time you guys move.
Mhm.
I'll need 1 additional success.
I'll hold off on buying the dice for right now. Okay, so that's 2 successes. Is our I rolled an 18. Is that below our?
Oh yeah, you guys are going to be at 20. I'll let you know if it changes.
Yep. So that's just 1 success. Sorry.
Did the ship get 1?
Daring and
Who would like to? I can roll for the ship.
It is structure and con. And then Sarah, you're keeping track of power. Perfect.
Sorry, I got muted again. Yeah, we were at 1 structure and we were at 2 power.
So you should have full power, whatever the size of the ship is. I believe is power.
Okay.
That is
so
a
you'll-
success. Oh, sorry.
cool.
Okay, no, that's fair. That's fine. So you'll start at that, and then you use 1 power to do evasive actions.
Okay. Yeah. Well. we only used 1 power. Fixing that.
Yeah. All right, so you have successfully evasive actioned. Yeah, we're gonna go with that. It would go back to the platforms. You want it to go back to the platforms? You can spend 2 to hold on to the initiative and let somebody else go.
I'm for holding an initiative for right now if we want to. We either need to fire back or we need to get out of range of these platforms until we can hail someone on the planet.
I'm inclined to withdraw until we can assess the situation further.
I can scan the weapons as much as I can as well. We're on our way out, so I can try to devise better defenses.
Yeah, so we may want to pull out.
Oh, hey. GM in the Great Barrier has bought you guys a momentum. So thank you, I guess. No, I do. We do all appreciate that. If you want to buy threat, though, it's right there next to that one, so you can just click that as many times as you want. So you guys are flying away. So you're holding on to initiative to do that.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, if we're all...
So that'll drop you down to 4. Can I get a daring and con roll assisted with? Oh, hey, great. Thank you, GM. The Great Barrier. That is a wonderful threat you just bought me. I appreciate you. I need a daring and con roll from the pilot. It is going to be an increased difficulty to 3 because you're taking a second action.
Okay. So that was GM in the Great Barrier.
GM in the Great Barrier.
I think they're donating because you used Australia as a reference, because I'm pretty sure the Great Barrier Reef is in Australia.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But if they're not from Australia, like, that's cool too. You can be a Great Barrier wherever you want to be.
If it makes you feel better, I had to Google and make sure I was right.
So, you guys, I'm gonna buy a dice.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was daring and con, right?
Yeah, and the ship assists with structure and con.
Okay, so that's 2 successes.
Okay, so the ship needs 1.
Structure and con. So the ship's rolling at 12. And that is a 20.
Oh.
So a complication.
Well, we're going to take the complication that as you attempt to fly away, the platforms are getting another shot.
Oh, do we have a reroll?
We got a reroll.
Do we?
Yep.
Oh, but I just rolled really good dice.
Would someone else like to roll for that? It is a 12 under.
Just 1 die, or I can roll.
Yeah.
Okay,
we appreciate our producer for giving them a reroll.
Era is notoriously known for good luck.
Yep. Yeah. The ship is going to explode. There goes the warp core.
I made it. It's a 9.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, you pull the Serenitis back. Engineer teams and what do you call that? Medbay teams. The doctors? What are they called?
Doctors.
Medical teams.
There you go, medical teams. Thank you.
Teams.
It's a good day for words in my brain. Yeah, there are teams, medical teams and engineering teams, kind of shifted all around. Now that you're out of combat, the shields go back. The structure damage is not going to go away. Oh, I guess we need to roll to see where that hit, don't we? Or no, that's only breaches, isn't it? Yeah, that's only breaches. So, yeah, you guys have pulled away just outside of what the range seems to be, and the platforms that had uncloaked recloak.
As soon as I see the platforms cloak, check on the pilot that's on the ground.
Yeah, there's a medical team taking care of her.
Perfect. I'm gonna start asking departments for casualties, engineering for damage reports, talk to the doctor, saying, getting a feel for how bad casualties were. That's what I'm working on at this moment.
Sure. Sure.
I'm gonna get my security team to keep their head on a swivel, run extra scans, pull people on shift.
Okay. A pilot replacement comes from the mystical door on the side of the bridge, like they always do. They can just. I don't. Do they just sit there in a room, waiting? Is that what they're
Yeah.
doing? Is just kind of hanging out, and then like, oh, I've got to
In
go to
the
the
ready
bathroom.
room.
Beep beep, and they
It-
get up, and the other guy just runs in.
It's like a
They're the
green
co-
room. It's got snacks, drinks,
Nice.
comfy couches.
Yeah. So what you're getting is that there's minor hull damage, not really that dangerous, but the shields took a pretty solid hit. Sarah, how many shields does the Serenitis normally have?
Remember, I've just been keeping track on my Word document.
Oh, so okay, I got it then. Normally has like 12 shields, and you got hit pretty hard. It took out 10 of them.
Ooh.
Oh no,
We
it
have
took
one
out
structure
4 of
damage.
them because I forget about scale, because scale goes into resistance. That's fine. It still was a pretty solid hit from weapons platforms. It was pretty, like, it was a pretty solid shot.
Hey Matt,
Yeah.
what? Since we got hit by the weapon systems, are we able to determine what their power source is?
You can attempt to scan to see if you can break through or at least figure out what the cloak is being, like how it's cloaking. That's fine.
I'm gonna try to do.
And while Commander Charlie's doing that, I'm going to look at Commander Bex and be like, do we have any records of those weapon platforms in our database?
I don't believe so, no, but I can run some checks on that. So what would I roll to run security checks?
That's a good question. We'll go with
Insight security?
Yeah,
yeah, that's a good one. We'll go with reason security.
Yeah, I was about to say that was also. I mean, I would prefer my good stat, but. All right. Difficulty?
2.
And I don't have anything that would go
Not
for
too
that.
much.
So I did get 2 successes.
Okay.
An 11 and a 4.
Okay, and what were you looking for?
To see if we had any information about those weapon platforms or the kind of weapon platforms they might be.
So you're not seeing anything in the system about this system, or in anything in your computer about this system having any weapons platforms. But you are noting that this isn't the first time that the Federation has run into cloaked deflectors, or deflectors. I'm sorry, cloaked phaser, like platforms.
Yeah.
It does typically require a relatively solid amount of power, but there was not enough time to really kind of scan them when that was the case. I was looking for the words that tell me what count. That's fine. I'll make it up. That's the way we work here. Yes, Sarah.
What did I need to roll to scan the?
Oh, for sure. Your scanning is always going to be reason and science, and then the ship is going to assist with sensors and science. We're going to call this a difficulty of 4 because you're trying to poke through cloaking that you're not familiar with.
We got this. This is going to be a great roll. We're all going to have a good time. We're going to be.
Do you want to buy dice?
Actually, yes. Let's look at that. I'm going to buy a die.
So I'll just take that as threat.
And then cautious science. I'm just rereading my notes.
What are you taking us right now?
Nothing. When you, yeah.
Sorry. My open talent tree. Open. I wrote how. There we go. All right. Yep. I get to reroll a single die when I roll because of my cautious science.
Fantastic.
Ooh, we're gonna reroll that 20. That is.
And we're
not a
going to
good
reroll
20.
the ship.
Oh yeah, somebody wants to help me with the ship. Although I am currently at 4.
That's a critical success for the ship. I rolled a 1.
Sweet. That'll put you
Nice.
at
6, right?
5. Yeah, that puts you at 5. That'll put you at 6 successes. So that puts you back at 5 momentum. What you're not able to scan the cloaked platforms, but you are able to determine where they're at. You can kind of map them because of the way that the radiation is bending around them. And after a little bit of analysis on the sensors, you can pick up that there is an antimatter power source on them, almost like they have warp engines, but they're obviously not warping anywhere.
Really unstable power source. I mean, for a defensive platform. Does it seem like the system, like these defense platforms, were jury rigged together, or is this just one solid design?
No, they looked. I mean, like with the short amount of time that you guys saw them, they looked like military hardware.
Okay.
I mean, I would assume that we have footage and that we could zoom in on
Enhance.
Enhance.
But no,
Commander,
seriously, I mean, the
should
ship
we-
would have a record of them when they uncloaked.
Yeah.
Commander, should we see if we can scan any alternate bandwidth for communications? Perhaps, there is some sort of communication not to approach, and then the hidden drones are a defense system.
Yeah, let's do that. I mean, they didn't even give us a chance to get into standard orbit before we would try and hail them. So let's see if we can get a hold of somebody down there.
Technically, security does talking to people, which is terrifying.
All right.
So let's call it a control and engineering role. You can have somebody else do this, honestly.
Yeah, if it's control engineering, that is like 2 of my worst stats.
That's me.
And then the ship can assist with communications and engineering.
Are you sure you don't want me to roll my 8? I have a lot of faith in my 8 roll.
Look, I believe in you.
If you can't
like
believe in yourself, believe in the me that believes in you.
Sorry, what are we doing this roll for? We're checking. Oh, the difficulty is going to be 1. Sorry, my brain is really not in it tonight. I don't know what's going on. I even prepared.
Although, if I'm doing it, then I got 1 success.
Okay.
Let's see, my focus is apply.
Probably not. I don't think so. Does someone want to roll for the ship?
Oh, okay.
It rolls communications engineering.
I got a 3.
Oh, well, then that is 1 success. So there's 2 successes. That'll put you guys back up to cap on momentum at 6. So you cycle through all of the known frequencies and what you would expect even older ships to use, like radio and even microwave, and there's nothing. There was a small ping on the sensors that there was some sort of transmission between them, so they acted almost together. But that's the only thing that you guys have picked up on. Sarah, you were running like a passive scan just to kind of keep an eye on tachyons and such. Can you roll reason and security or reason and science for me?
Yes, I sure can. 2 successes.
Fantastic. So what you're picking up on the planet now is all of the continents were at one time populated. You can see buildings. And we're not talking like more primitive huts. We're talking like modern America, like skyscrapers and stuff. So like there are pockets of cities around. The power source is not coming from one of those. It's coming from kind of a lightly forested area. In that area, there are more primitive huts, but more like they're made out of pieces of a ship. And there is kind of a skeleton of a Jem'Hadar ship not far from that site. The life signs you're picking up are a lot of different things, but majority of them are Romulan and Cardassian, with some Klingons. There's several Federation species there, Bajorans, just a little bit of everything.
Okay, so timeline. Are we after the events of Lower Decks? From before I act on information I wouldn't have.
When does Lower Decks take place?
It's like 10 years after Nemesis.
Oh no, we're nowhere near that. We are
Is it that
3
far out?
years. Yeah, I don't know.
It's like
Is it
5
really?
or 10. It's before Picard.
So we are 3 years past 3.5 years past the Treaty of Bajor.
Okay, all right then. Okay, then I'm confused, and I'm just going to keep scanning. Who's using a plethora of technology? Also, I may be wrong about what I'm just assuming. So, no, I'm going to figure out who's managed to tie several different systems together because that's it, and it works so efficiently. That's the weird part.
They may have no
Lonnie,
choice but to coexist to survive.
Lonnie, can I get you to give me an insight security roll?
Sure thing.
None of your stuff applies.
Security. What's the difficulty?
2.
2. I got 3 successes.
Fantastic. You're still capped. So you remember reading reports from before the Dominion War, like prepping to come into the Gamma Quadrant. You've read a bunch of reports from before the Dominion War.
Mhm.
At one point, there was a large fleet of Cardassian and Romulan ships that went into the Gamma Quadrant to go kill some founders, and then they were never heard from again. But Garrick's father was part of that, and he was the head of the Obsidian Order at the time. It was not sanctioned by either government, and basically their intelligence officers were just like, let's build ships and go fight things, and then it went poorly. So it's not unheard of. It is important to note there are no Vorta or Jem'Hadar life signs on the planet.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I will share this information.
So we've got a planet full of refugee freedom fighters.
So it would seem.
Who were probably trying to approach the point, got shot down, and have lived there since.
Yeah, because I can't imagine they would be the ones that would have put the platforms up.
Sarah, you got a bunch of successes earlier. The buildings that you're seeing, a lot of them have been destroyed by some sort of explosion. You are catching a little bit higher radiation levels than normal. And just from like some quick guesswork, maybe 200 years ago, there was some sort of atomic war, and there is no one left on the planet from that. Like, you have people there now, but like the original inhabitants are all gone.
It's a civilization that wiped itself out, probably with antimatter, just based off the abundance of the power source technology. But they got a hold of advanced technology. This might be a people who are deeply suffering, and they view any sort of outsiders as a threat.
So ship gets too close, gets shot down, crash on the planet. They're stuck there forever because there's no way getting past the defense grid. I wonder if size matters. Why don't we launch a probe towards the weapon arrays?
Not the probes. Won't someone please think about the probes?
Opens over there getting.
I'm
mad.
sure I'm off fixing things, Commander. Otherwise,
Did you ever get that last probe back?
Nope.
No, we forgot about it.
Which probe?
Yeah,
The last one you guys sent.
I know. I was doing
Oh
it.
yeah. Right. Jeez.
I think I'm funny. It's all right.
No. I keep forgetting we don't remember.
Let's launch a probe and see if we can get some better readings off those platforms, or to see if they even react, or we risk a shuttle or something like that. Because I'm assuming we're outside of transporter distance at this point.
No, you could transport in. It'd be a little harder. The radiation's going to disperse it a little bit, so they're going to need to prep a confining beam. But it should be doable. It shouldn't be. It's as dangerous as beaming from ship to ship during warp, which you can do. It's complicated, but it's not out of the question. And also, you've got good transporter people.
Let's try the probe first if we can get any more information. If not, we will Beam down to one of the larger settlements.
Nice.
So, Lonnie,
Because
you
they're-
launch. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say an abundance of caution is definitely warranted. It is clear that they have a dim view of outsiders.
Well, the original habits, but the people that are crash landed here recently may not. They may be looking for rescue.
Lonnie, you launch the probe. It gets a little bit closer than the ship did, and then the platforms uncloak fire, and then once it's destroyed, because it doesn't take a whole lot. Yes,
Can we set up our sensors to
for sure.
pop so we can record the data?
Yeah. So they decloak fire and then recloak. So a couple of things that you note from the sensors, because I'm just going to let you guys keep the previous rolls. There's no reason to generate any more momentum. So there is an antimatter reactor on the platforms. They are about the size of like 30 big elephants. No, they're about the size of like an aircraft carrier, kind of generalized that size. A little more round than long, but like generally that size. There's an antimatter reactor on it. In some ways similar to what you have like on Federation ships, but it doesn't put out the same power. Probably like an earlier model of antimatter if you were looking something similar with the Federation. The cloaking is done by just basically using a deflector shield to like cover itself, which is kind of what the Romulans do. It's just a lot more technical than that. And then the phaser cannons themselves are pretty. It would not have hurt the ship had they not all hit at the same time. So they are working in concert, and there is definitely communication from one to the other when they fire. They almost act kind of like a hive mind.
Commander Perrin, I owe you a probe.
Later that evening, in his room, there's a plaque on the wall, and another little plate goes onto the plaque. And he has a sip of scotch and goes to bed.
Down in engineering, there's a sign that says "Days since probes lost." 0.
0.
Just imagine someone just tap sadly playing in the background.
That probe had a family.
So when we did
it is important to note that other than the deflector shields, there's no real shielding for these. So knowing where they're at, you can probably just fire from where you're at and hit them. And that their sensor range is such that if you hit 15 or so of them, you're going to open up a big enough hole that the Serenitis can go through without an issue.
So they're only, as far as we know so far, they're only shooting outward. They're not shooting.
Correct.
So if we can get... Okay. Oh. Commander Perrin, would it make you feel better if we blew up some of the platforms?
Yeah.
I'm not going to make you guys roll. Lonnie, you spend a little bit of time like targeting appropriately, working with Charlie, and take out an area that you can move the Serenitis through without an issue. Are you moving closer to beam down, or are you taking a shuttle?
Ooh, good question. The radiation that's on the planet that could interfere with beaming back.
Negligible, honestly. It's not that big of a deal.
We don't need like rad suits, do we?
No. This is like, if you're there for a couple of years, that could start building up, but it wouldn't be that bad. And honestly, with the meds that your doctor has that he'll stab you with.
What to say, like, is it even going to be bad enough that he's actually going to see us, or is he going to be like, just walk it off?
He's gonna see us because he doesn't believe in hypos. It's just like an old rusted.
It's just a rusty nail he stabs you with.
Runs it in a little tube, gets some medicine.
Yeah, Commander Rhombus can get you guys set up with anti-rad meds that would keep you from having any negative like consequences, and the rads are low enough that even like first aid kit kind of stuff would be enough that it would keep you safe for a while.
Well, Commander, Commander Bex, your call. Do we shuttle down or do we beam down? Which do you feel more comfortable with?
Let's go ahead and shuttle down. That way we have a working base, an actual lab, and stuff like that. And again, please just call me Lonnie. It's fine.
All right, can do. Everybody get ready. Commander Perrin, you'll be accompanying us. Of course, Charlie, you're indispensable in these situations. Everybody get your phasers, tricorders, and meet in Shuttle Bay 3.
Good call. It's the best shuttle bay. We all know.
Yes.
Yeah, you take one of the Type 16 shuttlecraft. That sounds right. Down to the planet. The planet's kind of beautiful. There are a bunch of animals kind of moving around. You see like larger moose-sized herbivores moving in herds. The animals here do seem to be a little more on the mega side of fauna, and the plant life here also seems to be a little more on the mega side of flora. So, like thicker trees, a lot of redwoods would look normal here instead of being notable. You find the small village where you're getting life signs, humanoid life signs, is inside an area that's covered in woods, but there's a field nearby that you land in. And as the shuttle kind of touches down, you see a Klingon, 2 Romulans, 2 Cardassians, and a Bolian kind of come out of the tree line. The Klingon has a disruptor, a Jim Hadar disruptor. The others are not armed.
Greetings.
Can I get a vibe check on these guys real quick?
What did we decide vibe checks were?
I think insight security.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
I'm hoping criminal elements does not apply.
It does not apply.
Oh, that is 2 successes.
Okay.
I just want to get are these people like desperate, or are they...
Sure. So I'm just gonna codify this a little bit more. Vibe checks are always gonna run like that. They're not gonna have a difficulty. The better you get, the better read you get. And what you're getting off of them is the Klingon is not hostile, just ready to be hostile, which is kind of typical for Klingons. The Romulans are. Romulans are hard to read anyway, but they seem calm. The Cardassians seem relatively calm, and the Bolian seems very excited. But that's also Bolians. Like that's kind of their perpetual state. So, but they all seem amicable. They don't seem hostile.
I'm Commander Rory Vallon from the USS Serenidus. We were scanning the planet when we discovered the weapon platforms up there.
One of the Romulans steps forward and says, I am Major Vitol of the Tal Shiar. It's a pleasure to meet you, Commander Vallon. These are my friends, and he introduces the other 5 of them. The other Romulan's name is Savina. The Klingon is Thosh of House Nagra. House Nagra is notable because it's one of the great houses of the Klingon Empire.
Mm-hmm.
The Cardassians are Tarl Aaron and Erit Drick. And then the Bolian is Lieutenant Van Heron, who none of you really know, but also like there are thousands and thousands of Starfleet officers out there, so that's not out of the question.
Love his music though.
God, I was hoping that the name generator didn't stick me with a name that get made fun of, but it did.
At least it's at least it's not Van Hagar.
I've already forgotten names. I'm doing great. Vittel continues, says, you're welcome in our camp. we have some food. Unfortunately, we don't have any way to communicate, or we would have hailed you had we known you were in the system. I assume you saw the weapon platforms and disabled them in some way?
We made a hole
That's a
big
word
enough to
for it.
get through.
Excellent. Well, why don't one of the four of you join us in the camp, and we can feed you some of the local food here. It's not. We don't have any spices. It's real rough without spices. I'll be honest. I could really go for some good Romulan food right now.
We've got replicators on the shuttle.
I said good Romulan food.
Mm.
Federation replicators do not understand Romulan spice. I mean, how could you? But
So they will not let the spice flow.
No. So yeah, you walk into the camp. It looks like they've ripped apart the Jem'Hadar ship, and kind of built, I don't know, 30 huts or so out of it. There's a communal kind of pavilion. Doesn't have walls on its side, and there's a big like table and like a stone cooking area that they've kind of built out. There are a bunch of people moving around. You do see a couple of people with babies on their hips. As you kind of walk in, Vittel says, "So, I know it doesn't really matter. I just would like to go home. But who are we at war or not at war with? Like, are the Romulans and the Federation okay?"
They above the table. We're still at peace.
Yeah, you're in an alliance.
We're fairly copacetic.
Still.
Okay,
Yeah.
excellent. And then the Cardassian says, one of the I have names for them. We're going to use their names. Aaron says, how about the Cardassian Empire?
It's still there.
That's not ominous at all.
Well, as you know, in any war, there's winners and losers, and the Dominion was beaten by the coalition of the Klingon Federation and the Romulans.
Where did the Cardassians fall in that?
They sided with the Dominions.
Okay. It is important to note a couple of things. The Romulans are wearing clothes that don't look appropriate for Romulans, in that they don't look like they're curtains they rip down off of somebody's wall. They're dressed more Federation color and like scheme, but they still have the pointed shoulders. They still found a way to put pointed shoulders on them. The Cardassians are not in their armor. And the Klingon doesn't have his baldric at all, and does not have a house dagger that you can see.
And I'm assuming no batleth or anything like that.
Nope. He just has the Jem'Hadar disruptor, but nothing else weapon wise.
How did you guys end up here?
Vittel responds. He says, we were on a prison transport ship, being moved from one facility to another. I'm not sure quite what happened, but we found ourselves plummeting towards the planet. When we crashed, there was a general uprising. The ship lost power, so there was no way to keep us in our cells, and we killed off the Vorta and the Jem'Hadar on the ship, and then kind of left us where we're at now. It's really easy to get along with each other when you don't have a lot of other options, and thankfully we all understand survival above racial issues.
Understand that. So there were no survivors for the Jem'Hadar. There wasn't a changeling with them.
The Vorta was hurt pretty bad on impact and might have been executed by Thosh. Oops. But the Jem'Hadar were battled pretty fiercely. There were another dozen or so Klingons, and they unfortunately perished in that fight. Thosh is the only one left.
And then there was no evidence of a changeling, correct?
We don't have a way to really check. But at this point, if they're still here, they're really doing a good job of hiding it. We've been through a lot together.
And I'm assuming there's no question about you all wanting.
About us, what? Sorry, I
There's
didn't
no
catch
question that you guys want to leave.
Oh,
You're-
absolutely.
Okay.
So just a real quick history lesson for the four of you, because I'm sure some of you know this, but between the Tal Shiar and the Obsidian Order going into the Gamma Quadrant and the Cardassians joining, there's about a year in there, and that means that during that year was when the Cardassians and the Tal Shiar were captured, and then probably everyone else after that was during that time.
Yeah, no, I mean, questions like that need to be asked. You'd be surprised you find, marooned people on a planet and they decide to claim it as their own, and they just want to make it clear that, we can get you guys off the planet into your respective homeworlds.
Yeah, I'd be very happy. And then the lieutenant, the Bolian, says, "Commander, I'd like to go. I'd like to take some time, but I would like to return to Starfleet when the time is right."
Oh, of course.
I have a question about the planet.
Sure.
We've detected ruins from orbit, and it seems this planet had a civilization, a fairly advanced one, before it destroyed itself or was in turn destroyed. Have you uncovered anything about it?
There were some of us that went to go and check out the ruins that are northeast of here. There are, I think you probably have seen some of the plants and animals here. They're a little bit larger than what I'm used to. And from my understanding of Earth, there's a strange deer-like creature that is large, but otherwise you don't have hulking creatures like these. The predators are bigger and tougher and have, at least in that city, made nests. And so we lost a couple of people trying to look into that. What we did find was that we would need a power source to check the computers. There doesn't seem to be any kind of power source whatsoever. And we didn't really have one to spare at the time. If we went back now, I got some, but we didn't really have a lot at the time. So it just seemed easier to not go back and safer. The predators don't typically come here. They've learned that we're dangerous prey, whereas some of the other herbivores are a whole lot easier to take down.
With that, Charlie's going to nod, accepting the answer, and then he's going to pull out his tricorder, and he's just going to take some readings in that direction and start to form a plan of his own.
As you're kind of scanning and looking, you do notice that there are what kind of look like squirrels with kind of longer arms and more of an elongated head, but they're also the size of Dobermans climbing up trees.
Oh, I do not like that.
Those are the we call them the nut stealers, because we were gathering nuts for a while. The only danger they gave us was they kept coming and raiding our nut stash, and
chew through your nutsack.
yeah, they're right through it.
It's unfortunate. Hate to
Got
see it
right
happen.
down in there. But other than that, they're pretty docile. We've had friendly encounters with them, and they've let us kind of pet them, but they're still very feral.
Look like they take your hand off if they didn't want you touching them.
I'm pretty sure they take an arm. They have some very large, very sharp teeth.
Well, if possible, we might be able to use. If possible, we might be able to use the shuttlecraft to get closer and use this transporter to put us close enough to the computer so we can scan and then leave without getting attacked by monsters.
That's possible. Also, I would assume that your shuttle is armed, so a spaceship-based weapon is going to be a lot stronger than the hand phasers you brought.
Is the type 16?
Yeah, it's got some basic phasers. It's not combat ready. It's more of oh, pirates, let's shoot them quick and roll our way.
Are we gonna set our phasers on our shuttlecraft to stun?
We're gonna be hunting with the
so-
giant cannon.
Scanning the north to the northeast, what you're seeing are maybe 90, 100 buildings that are at least 3 stories tall, and then kind of a sprawl out from that, like you would expect in a regular city. Several of the buildings are missing tops, just from a quick scan. There are kind of hot spots of life forms, clearly where there are nests, and there's probably 150 of them in the city. The deeper into the city you go, though, they go away. They're kind of ringed on the, not on the outside, but kind of ringed in a little bit, and kind of stop after a while.
That's not scary.
It, yeah, your science officer could ask questions.
Well, Vital, if you want to have your people start getting what they want packed up to bring with them, we're going to take a quick little jaunt and make our ops manager / science officer really happy by exploring the ancient abandoned city.
Yeah, they all nod, and Vital turns and tells everybody to kind of start getting ready. The Klingon, like very clearly in front of you, Bex, pulls the power cell out of the disruptor and sets it on the table, and he says, "I'm keeping this and the disruptor."
Yeah, it's a trophy.
Yeah, there are probably 65 people total in this this encampment. They seem to be moving pretty well. It is clear that there have been pairs that would be a little odd. There are a couple of Romulans that are with Cardassian people, like they have crossed some Empire lines, and don't seem to be. It doesn't seem to be a problem. There are probably a dozen Federation officers. Something Starfleet protocol would require you to find out where what ships these officers came off of.
Yeah.
Commander Valen.
Yep.
So when you do stop them and kind of go through it, they're all from a ship called the USS Tallahassee, which was a Nova class, or not a Nova class. I'm sorry, poop.
I'm not familiar with that class.
Yeah, the poop class, the best class. Don't worry. It's
The USS Bristol? That's a deep cut for anyone curious about the Bristol stool chart.
strangely enough, not that interested. A Miranda class ship.
Oh, Miranda.
So the Reliant in Wrath of Khan is a Miranda class ship. And they're not built for combat. They're built for a lot of like science stuff. So not out of the question. Yeah, but all there were. You're told that there were originally maybe 20, and 8 we either died in the crash or have died since. A couple of them died exploring ruins, because that sounds like the kind of dumb thing Starfleet would do. But yeah, like there are only a few of them, or there are only about a dozen of them left.
So how many survivors in total here?
About 65.
I'm gonna so it's not a surprise. Just gonna let Captain Halada know that we're gonna have about 65 refugees of Federation, Cardassian, Romulan, and on Klingon. That they were being, the whole story transported on the Dominion ship, crash landed here. They're ready to go home, and while they're packing up, we're going to explore the ruins.
Yeah. Halada says we'll get as many rooms ready as we can, and we'll convert one of the cargo bays so that we have places to put everyone.
Sounds good. I'll let you know when we're ready.
Thosh comes up and says, if you're going to explore the ruins, I'd like to come with.
Thosh is the Klingon?
Yeah.
You might want to buckle up that... That's not the phrase I was looking for at all, ye gods. You might want to re-jigger your disruptor. Load. Reload.
Nope, it's Kajigger now.
Yep.
It's a
Well, Kajiggers.
Aphasia is an adventure.
he nods, grabs the power pack, and slaps it back in. Yeah, he's ready to go with you.
Is our replicator big enough to make a batleth?
No, but you could make a mechleth.
Would there be honor in it, though?
Yeah, oh yeah, it's just a shorter sword.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I meant with a replicator made as opposed to hand forged.
A weapon is a weapon sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you just don't argue when you need something to survive.
He's been on this planet for so long, he'll take replicated, hand forged.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you want to replicate him like a hand weapon?
Yep.
If you'd like one, yeah.
Okay. So as a reminder, because I know you guys have not done this yet in the game, if you want something more powerful than the weapons you have, you do have to spend threat to get them, or give me threat to get them. So if you wanted phaser rifles, those are available. They are, I believe they take 1 momentum and 1 threat to get enough for all 4 of you. Like, it's just a one-time spend, you get them, but it does change like things. And you could also probably get photon grenades, but again, that's going to be a opportunity. So it's going to be more momentum and more threat that I get.
But to give him a sword is not going to cost momentum.
No, I'm not going to make you pay for outfitting a Klingon with Klingon things.
Sure wish we had some grenades right now.
The rifle sound like a good call.
Okay. Is that what you guys want to do?
Make a predator.
If the commander orders me to carry one, I would. Otherwise, I think that I'd probably want to just more have my hands free to work on equipment and stuff.
I mean, I'd happily take a phaser rifle.
Yeah, it's got a sling, so you can always sling it on your back.
I don't want to if I'm not ordered to.
Okay. Yeah, so that'll put you guys at 5 momentum and 9 threat. So the plan is to fly in.
Yeah, we're gonna come in fairly low.
Okay.
Scan, see if we can locate the computer center. Is that what we're looking for now?
That makes sense. So yeah, you take off from the field. I do need you to make, let's say, a daring con check.
Okay.
With the ship assisting with structure con. Difficulty is going to be a 3.
And I'm assuming that I'm the pilot, correct? I mean, nobody else has the...
Yeah. Yeah, you're only good for 2 things, talking and flying, so...
I also have diplomacy.
And we're all out of talking.
Yeah, you're really good at that diplomacy.
So focused on diplomacy, yeah.
No, that's changed to politics now.
Yeah.
Evasive action doesn't apply to this, correct?
No, not so much.
Okay, so that's 2 successes.
Okay. As you get closer to the city, you do note some strange updrafts that kind of rock the ship a little bit. But the other than the buildings being kind of half destroyed, they don't seem that dangerous. You do see large shadows kind of moving in between some of the buildings, but not really form. You don't really see a form or get a good look. Just ominous shadows.
That shadow's the 2.5 giraffes.
Just 8 legs with 3 really long necks.
Charlie's going to take a power generator?
Oh yeah, the shuttle's got like a half dozen.
Yeah. And then Charlie's going to just take a little toolkit full of odds and ends that might help with hooking up the power generator and getting data. But it's also going to consult with the engineer because, the engineer would know more about actually getting the physical part of getting into this computer.
Yeah, for sure. As Rory pilots in to the larger buildings, you do see a couple of very large birds fly off in a little bit of a distance. But they do seem to be like kind of circling back towards the buildings themselves. And by large birds, I'm talking like a Buick.
It's not that big.
For a bird, it is.
I've seen bigger. I mean, it's a big galaxy.
It's fair.
Are they yellow? Are they big birds?
Yes. They
Only
we
in
found
America.
Big Bird's home planet. It was all bird people the whole time.
Did anybody happen to ask if there are aerial predators? I mean, we'll have to keep an eye out on those.
Oh, Thosh goes, yeah, there definitely are. Those, we call those night talons. They are typically nocturnal birds. I'm guessing that the noise of the shuttle has disrupted their sleep pattern, though.
So I mean, we're definitely bigger than one of the birds in the shuttle.
Oh yeah, the shuttles. Yeah, he says that their talons don't penetrate steel or durasteel, whatever the ship's made. They shouldn't penetrate your hull, but they could buffet the shuttle pretty good. So just keep an eye on them.
Keep that in mind.
Charlie, can you give me a science and reason roll? Difficulty 2, and as always, the ship can assist with sensors in science.
Anybody want to roll sensors?
I can.
Wait. All right, here we go. And I'm cautious, so I can reroll one of these. But I made both, so 2.
Did you buy a dice?
Oh, I didn't buy dice. You're correct.
Yeah,
But I still got 2.
Okay, that's fine.
And 1 from the ship.
Fantastic.
3.
Did I say 3? I did, didn't I?
Yeah. Thought so.
Good. It's like I sit down for this and my brain just explodes into Swiss cheese, and all the important things just go away. Yeah. So you guys, locate a computer, like a bank of computer cores, at what kind of looks like a government building. Like, it's drab and ugly, and it feels pretty government. Are you landing right next to it, like kind of in the street?
So we can.
I would say they're probably safest inside of the shuttlecraft. So yeah, I would say we probably want to stay in there as long as we can.
Well, I mean, if we have teleporters, jeez. Transporters. Thank you.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Yeah. If we have transporters on here, I could always stay on the ship as Overwatch and beam the rest of you down.
I think that would be best. Honestly, I think if there are giant monsters, having a quick egress is better, and having the ship on the street would probably work. The only concern, though, is that if we're on the street and something surprises the shuttle, we might get cut off. So maybe just keep the engine running, as Terrans are fond of saying. I saw that in a movie, actually, the movie series that was recommended, the one that encourages familial relationships, the Fast and Furious series.
I haven't watched it yet.
It's like 37 movies. Nobody's got time for that.
Yeah, they're angry. I don't know why, but it doesn't help them with going fast.
So you land the shuttle next to the building? Yeah. Okay. As the 5 of you, because you've got Thosh with you, come out of the ship, I need everybody to give me an insight security roll. There's no difference.
This is the moment when Charlie's plan gets everybody killed. Oh, Lord.
Hey, do I have any? No, I don't have any.
We'll do it.
Would surveillance and or infiltration be...
No, not at all.
Lead by example by taking point walking into
No,
this?
not at all.
I got 2.
Matt, what's our threat threshold? Like, is it still just...
We're still at 20s.
Oh, good. Then I've only given you 1.
Oh.
We have
What's
any
the
more
difficulty,
rerolls
sir?
in chat?
No, we used our only.
This is
reroll.
why I put up with all the Sarah shenanigans in the Discord.
Charlie got
2.
excited.
So did anybody get any successes?
I got
2.
2.
Okay.
I haven't rolled yet because I was trying to figure out what the difficulty was. Sorry.
Oh, there is no difficulty. It's just a matter of how many successes you get.
I got a critical success. I got 2.
Fantastic. So the three of you, everyone but Charlie, hears almost like a screech and a roar together off in a distance to the south. Thosh turns with you, and he says, it sounds like it's off a distance. It probably won't come this deep.
What is it?
I don't know. We've only seen one of them, and it killed the people that saw it. And the reports we've gotten otherwise have been confusing. Humans have bears. They're a lot like bears with really long arms and really long claws. They can both be bipedal and quadruped. They move relatively quickly, and they are. My people would call them an impact predator. They don't stalk. They hit.
Is it possible it's a Sasquatch?
Yes, this is the planet of both big birds and Sasquatch.
We're on Cryptid Planet?
Cryptius.
Does the
Mothman
sh-
welcomes you into the government center.
I knew the Mothman was involved in the government. Called
Exactly.
me crazy.
Commander, I'm gonna perhaps suggest that while you guys scout out the area and then maybe find where we're gonna hook up the computer, I can try to work on modifying the deflectors and the force fields on the shuttlecraft in order to create a bigger bubble for us to keep out any predators.
That sounds great.
It's a lot of words from scared.
Cool. So why don't we start with Perrin then and see if he can get the shuttle or the shields kind of bumped out. We're gonna call that a control and engineering. Yeah, control and engineering, difficulty of 2. The Serenitis cannot assist because you're not on the Serenitis.
Control and engineering with a difficulty of 2, and we're captive momentum.
You're at 5.
All right, I'm gonna buy a die.
Yeah,
Sure.
I'll probably just earn it right back, but that's 3 successes.
Fantastic. What does technical expertise say? Do you have that up?
Whenever I attempt a task assisted by the ship's computers or sensors, I may re-roll 1d20.
Okay.
And maybe the ship's time.
So you got 2 or 3 successes.
3.
Okay, fantastic. So that will put you back up to 5. Yeah, you get the shields to kind of go out to the doorway of the building and leave like the door cut out of it, but otherwise it's almost like a shielded tunnel back to the shuttle itself. It's going to take you a little bit of time to get that all like all the frequencies right and all dialed in, but you feel pretty confident you can do it. Meanwhile, the 4 of you, the other 3 of you, and Thosh head into the building. The first thing you kind of notice is that everything is at a slightly bigger size.
Scale?
Yeah, just the scale is just a smidge. Like instead of typically like 5'9" to 6 foot being regular, it's more like 6.5 to 7 foot being the regular height.
it's like
We've
the
gone
steps
from
are just
D&D
slightly
minis to Warhammer.
Yeah, exactly.
bigger. It's like
Got it.
the steps are just like slightly taller.
Yeah,
than
they're
average.
annoyingly just too hot, just too tall.
Yeah.
Like it's not painful. It's just like your body's like, but no, we should have already stepped.
I just remembered that Lonnie is 7 foot tall, and he is ecstatic.
Yeah, this is perfect for you.
It's your homeworld.
So the inside of the building is kind of one giant room. There is a circular desk-like structure in the middle, and you can see what looks like they would have been screens on it. And then there at the back there are two small hallways that look very much like elevator hallway banks that kind of just sit there. But the room itself is kind of enormous and huge.
Well, Charlie, I guess take your pick. Find a computer that you think will be functional. And Commander Perrin, if you're done adjusting the shields, we're going to need your help soon.
Yeah, it'll be at least 10 minutes or so. So
Charlie is best to pick. I mean, he has engineering knowledge too, but not as good as Perrin's. So he's going to try to pick the best one that he thinks Perrin would approve of. But he's also going to be prepared to move if Perrin thinks like, no, not site A, site B. But
okay. Good.
Then Charlie's going to he's going to start scanning with his tricorder, assess where he can plug in the power generator, and then go from there.
Why don't you give me a reason in engineering? None of your things apply.
I'm gonna. What's our momentum pool?
5. It's gonna be a difficulty of 3.
I'm gonna buy a point of momentum.
Cool. That'll put you down to 4.
Reroll. I might need it. I'm gonna definitely reroll that one. 5.
Nice.
Oh, okay. So that'll put you back up to cap. Yeah, after scanning, like you have to craft kind of an adapter. It's the wrong plug and wrong voltage kind of situation, but you brought the things to craft a quick adapter. Plug it in, and not just the screens light up, but like the desk itself kind of lights up with almost like built-in keyboards, which is not something that you typically like. The Federation doesn't use keyboards, so that is a novel concept for you.
Hello, computer.
Oh no, these are all Windows ME.
Oh, I had that one. No.
Perrin's not there, but he'd be like, I heard about these mechanical keyboards.
Yeah,
This truly is the darkest timeline.
As the screens kind of boot up, and it does go through a boot sequence, and they finally come on, you get on the screen is a line that then goes up into an arch, and then a line and one of those birds you just saw in the center of that arch, which kind of looks like a stylized flag.
Is this alien Twitter?
Oh God, no, not that kind of. It's not that. It is more. No, it looks nothing like that. That's terrible. And also, there's no such thing as Twitter anymore. I'm sorry.
X.
X.
Because it's going to give it to you.
Just about to say that.
So it looks like they're like governmental, like their national bird.
Yeah. Well, or their national flag.
National flag. Gotcha.
And then it goes to kind of a menu. It's not in a language you understand, so that's going to take a few. But your tricorder also it's not translating so much as giving you almost a structure of how their files are all set out and what it can access.
Because Charlie, I'd said Charlie was bringing his bag of like pads and everything. He's going to set up one pad to like translate the screen in real time, and then the other one is just going to be to just very lightly probe what it can download off the computer without making the computer sense like a threat.
Sure.
Just very gentle probing, not like stealing national security secrets.
Why don't you give me... let's say reason and science. And your anthropology would apply since it's going to deal with the language. It's going to be a difficulty of 5, though.
Oh.
It's a complicated language to get the pad to kind of translate. It's going to take... it's a rougher task.
What am I rolling again?
Reason and science.
Okay. I'm going to spend another point of momentum. I know I'm draining the party.
Oh, that's
No,
fine.
I mean, we were back at full, so now we're down to 5.
Okay, so that's 3 dice. We're going to get really lucky on this one.
You can also
Okay.
buy a
Yeah,
second
buy it.
dice.
With momentum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that'll put me at 4, correct? Because my.
Yeah.
All right, so we're at 4. I'm just establishing if there's any other edge or anything that we can use. Does tricorder add anything?
No, you get a reroll from cautious science, and then you might check your science officer ability, because I believe it may give you an extra dice or a reroll, one or the other.
Okay, I don't have that handy at the moment.
That's okay. I'll look it up.
Could
Thank
I
you.
could I help with one of my focuses and or my values? So either politics or act with confidence, even if you don't feel confident.
Politics isn't going to go anywhere. I mean, you can act with confidence, but it's not going to do much anything. I'm looking. Not that, like, honestly, between the four of you, there's not a lot that really does a whole lot. Let me get into the character generator to make sure that I know what your ability does.
I think my value of everyone deserves a second chance would work, because this is a dead civilization that we're giving a second chance to live.
No.
Got some real rules lawyer and bullshit going on right here.
I mean, for that matter, resistance is never futile. I mean, this computer's gonna give us this information.
I like you're going to Borg it.
Swedish chef it.
So yeah, go ahead and roll, and then I'm looking for the thing because it's not in the talent overview like I thought it was going to be.
Okay, so all good, but we're sitting at 4.
Okay.
What do we need to be sit? What do we need?
5.
I mean, one of us might as well assist. I guess that would be me.
We just need the 1 success.
All right, what's
No
the
crits.
difficulty?
5.
And what's the roll?
It's science and
Reason.
it's reason science.
Reason science. We got a 50-50 shot at this.
You got this. And if you don't make it,
That is a natural 1.
Nice.
Fantastic. So that'll put you guys back to 4. That's awesome. That worked really well.
They're keyboards, and I'm not used to that, and Lonnie just sits on the keyboard, and it just works. It's like the cat from Freakazoid.
Yeah. Your pad struggles a little bit, and like it kind of pulls words and then restructures it, and then pulls more words and restructures it, and it takes about, by the time it's done doing this, Perrin has been in there with you for like 10 minutes.
Hey.
And basically, while it's doing that, and you go to kind of probe at it just to kind of look around, their security on the computer side is lax. They've got Norton antivirus, essentially. Yeah, that's it.
The subscription lapse.
Yeah, and the subscription is way past. So yeah, like you have access to kind of what you would expect at a front desk at a government center.
Well, now that we've got it translated, what's the name of this place?
A good question.
Hopefully not just government center.
So they call their planet Norix. That starts with a G, because you're learning they put consonants at the beginning of words that don't make any sense. This is Norix 2, around what they called the sun Norix. And this is the Norexian government building. It seems like you're in the capital of the planet, or at least of a country. But it's also real ballsy of one country to call itself the name of the planet. So, like, that's pretty standard. You see a bunch of, like, there's calendars available. There are meeting notes. There's a bunch of, like, light information on where to send people. There are maintenance requests that you could put in. There are also tickets you can put in for their computer system. Like, there are a lot of options here. But what you do note is that it does give you a kind of a map of the facility, and you can see what is essentially their IT department of like kind of tucked behind the elevator banks.
Yeah, I'm going to share this with everybody and also upload the language thing to everybody's universal translators.
Excellent.
And Charlie is as happy as a clam. If anybody walks by Charlie at this point, he's going, "Ooh, what's that? Ooh, what's that? Ooh, I could put in a ticket. I just put in a ticket to fix this computer. I'm going to answer said ticket." And Charlie is going to, he is half playing around, but also half being like, copy to hard drive, copy to hard drive, copy to hard drive, his hard drive.
Well, it should be noted that there are some governmental documents in there, just like kind of a, I wouldn't call it a constitution, a series of laws put forth. The government seems to have been relatively fascist, in that there was one leader and he held power not in the best ways. Like there are a lot of indicators that this was a problematic culture. But you're also seeing that it was not the only government. There are trade agreements and like, what do you call those things when goods come into a country but you pay extra because
Tariffs?
it's from tariffs listed, and then there is a declaration of war against sorry, I have the note. I've names. The Utopian aggressors is what they call them.
Were they though?
What they call themselves.
Yeah. And you don't have any indication on how long ago that was. Like like their calendar doesn't match up anything. So it's kind of hard to tell, but it seems to be one of the last things that like when you sort by file date, it's one of the last files in the system, or in this system at least.
Okay, so fascist government. Is there anything like a calendar on what the last day of this government was? Because I get the feeling I know who might have started this nuclear war.
What you see is, give me insight. Let's call it insight and half of your control.
Like in half of my control.
Is that going to be a difficulty of 2?
I got a crit, so 2.
Oh, fantastic. So you parse through it, and what you see is the declaration of war came about 45 days, give or take, before the last meeting is scheduled in the calendar. Which doesn't tell you a lot other than you know when the declaration of war was, and you know when they didn't make any more plans.
It's a good way to get out of meetings, by the way.
War were declared.
Okay. Then after Charlie gets all the relevant information, I'm just going to try to download as much as I can into whatever servers we have with us. Even
Sure.
doing like an upload to the shuttlecraft, just because if the shuttlecraft can take it, I imagine it's going to max out because this is probably like an entire government's worth of data.
So the data you have here is very surface for the government. Like anything more in depth is going to be not accessible from this desk.
Well, Commander, I have accomplished all that I set out to do, or that we can get from this facility. We seem to know a lot about the Norixian Republic, and I'm making an assumption, but their conflict with the Utopians is what caused the end of their civilization.
I would also say that you do have an ID department that would have access to different banks of information.
I was going to bring that up. I was going to say, Commander, isn't this like what we would consider like their computer core, like an IT department?
I think our next step should be, if we have the time, to go and access it. But I also understand that it might be too dangerous, and we have stayed here a while. And there might be one of those giant bear creatures in the distance.
And we don't see
Tap my
any evidence-
tricorder and I talk to this shuttlecraft, and I assume that my shield is still holding.
I
Yeah. Your shield's doing just fine.
I
We're
wasn't-
fine, Charlie. I
It-
got us
it-
all sealed up tight.
And we don't see any evidence of I know that like any critters making nests in here. I mean, it's not like it does not look like something where
There are kind of sparsely you can see droppings from animals, relatively small, like
from the squirrels.
well, kind of like a little bit bigger than like rat droppings, so it's not huge. But before we get you guys to go any deeper into this, we are going to take a 10-minute break. So thank you guys for coming out and watching so far. I have a thing to read that I didn't read that thing earlier. My bad. We talked about following and subscribing, but don't forget you still can subscribe with Amazon Prime. So definitely, like, it's following us doesn't really require you to do anything. Just click a button. It'd be great. Otherwise, we're going to take 10 minutes and then we will be back. Stretch your legs and we'll come back with the rest of this story. All right. Hey, everybody, and welcome back. Sorry about that. There was a weird bandwidth thing going on. So we just wanted to make sure we were stable before we came back officially. You probably saw it by the weird countdown and how long it took. Hey, just as a reminder, I didn't mention this earlier. There are channel points you can spend. We call them Cthulhu's because this channel started as with a Call of Cthulhu game, and that was fun at the time, and I still kind of love it a lot. You can spend those to give momentum and threat. You can, in the middle of the game, beam up to the ship like the first officer did and just leave your people behind. And you can also get rerolls. There's a way to tip for creating NPCs if you really want to do that. I'm more than happy to throw NPCs in. Even right now, I'll figure it out. I don't care. Just if you want to do that, just message Rook and Rasp on Twitch, and they'll get you started that direction, and we'll go from there. This week's episode is called Icarus and Daedalus. I don't have a name for next week because I'm behind on it, but that's okay. More importantly, starting on the 20th, which is tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern, Redemption Podcast will be on our stream to stream their Edge of Empire actual play called Smuggler's Blues. So don't miss out on that. I'm hearing lots of great things about them. I haven't actually listened, but they're supposed to be great. So definitely check that out. Yeah, I think that gets all caught up on all the other things I needed to do and remember to say. Let's get back to the story. So, yeah, you found essentially rat droppings. That's where we left off. I'm bringing you back to the important information, rat droppings.
No, I think Commander Charlie, we can spend a few more moments, check out the IT room, see if we can get a little more data. That way we can prove out if it's something the Federation wants to spend their time researching into.
I think that it might also help explain where the defense turrets came from. Although,
Turn them off.
Exactly. And Matt, based on the sophistication of the computers that we're accessing, does it seem like this is the culture that built the turrets?
It seems plausible. You're not sensing any power systems, but also it's been at least a couple hundred years. So, who knows what's happened since then. But the kind of the make of them is very thematically appropriate to this planet, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, it looks right-ish, right enough. So.
Then Charlie's he's happy. He's like, can we go to the IT center now? Yeah, can we go?
Yeah, let's go.
So yeah, you guys head back to the room. It is locked. A locked door. Well, everybody go home.
Everyone's like,
I want to face it. Yeah, I want to.
It's a locked door. Just cock my phaser rifle.
Yeah, you blow the handle off the door, no problem. And it is, it's not the same as the isolinear chip system that the Federation use, but there is some familiarity with what you're looking at. Like, it's a little bit older than what the Federation uses, but it's like solid technology that works. Powering it up shouldn't take, it'll take a couple of your power cells just to make sure that everything powers up correctly, but it should be fine. And you probably have at least an hour on those power cells before you would need to recharge or switch out. So, who's getting into the system? Because I'm just going to assume that you guys can hook them up. Charlie figured it out the first time, so you're good. Who wants to go look around and poke around in the system?
Yes, probably me.
Fantastic. Can I get you to give me a reason and science roll? Computers is going to apply. Also, technical expertise probably applies too.
Yeah. What's my target?
Difficulty is going to be 3.
I'll buy that.
Sure. That'll put you down to 3.
Three successes.
Fantastic. Yeah. So, there is actual password protection and there's security on this, and you bypass it relatively easily. It's not super sophisticated. That is not where their technology strengths lie. or laid? Past tensely
Lane.
lied. Lane. Okay, perfect. But there is essentially you do access what is essentially the federal data banks. On a quick look through it, you find that about from that declaration of war, about 40 years prior, the planet had all been one government, and then each of the continents broke away into their own after their president, the president of the planet, was killed. This planet also did have communication with the Dominion. They just laid they were the planet was just far enough outside of their realm of influence that they just left them alone. And there is a recorded message that is the newest file in the system.
Commander, I think I can probably play this on screen here. It's the last recorded file.
Oh yeah, let's hear it.
So when it comes on, there is a lanky kind of. There's some similarities to Jimitar with like the bone ridges, and the skin is similar colored. It looks reptilian in origin instead of like mammalian, and says, "Citizens, this is the day that we have all dreaded. I've already lost the name. I'm going to go look at it. The Utopians have fired their antimatter missiles at us. We have responded in kind. I don't believe that our civilization will survive this. This is a goodbye. I appreciate all of the support that you have unanimously given me over my time as your leader, and I look forward to seeing you in the afterlife."
Seems like what we thought came to light.
I wish they could have avoided it. I mean, Earth definitely came close to annihilation several times, but eventually we learned how to work together.
It is a shame. It seems like their civilization was capable of so much. Using this terminal, do we see any like command codes that might link to the defense system around the planet?
Yeah, so you can get into the security, like the planetary security. It does look like this. Whatever happened, this is the country that ended up with the control of it. But they couldn't turn it on the planet itself for some reason. It's designed in a way that it won't allow it. Basically, it's just a lot of kind of independent platforms that communicate through subspace with each other, and they're there to defend the planet from the Dominion threat. It's very clear, the Dominion threat. Unfortunately, the Dominion threat is any ship that doesn't belong to this planet.
You would think if they were so worried about Dominion attack, that would have united, put a wedge between them. Can we turn them off at least?
Oh yeah, you can turn them off.
I mean, there's really not much to protect. I mean,
Are there any other booby trap systems that are in related files?
They had anti-air like batteries, but they were powered off of the power grid, and the power grid's gone. But other than that's it.
So instead of turning off those platforms, do we want to just set them to a self-destruct?
planet might prove to be a viable colony, and having a functional defense system in place wouldn't be a bad thing.
Except for that giant hole we punched in it.
The technology also could fall into the wrong hands.
You know what? This is above our pay grade. We'll let Captain Halada kick it up to the Admiral, see what they want to do.
Sounds good.
As you guys are kind of finishing up, I need everyone to give me an insight and security. Again, this is not a. There's no difficulty. It's just how many successes you get.
Oh,
Charlie is so excited that he doesn't notice anything.
1 success.
Two.
Matt, what's the threat? Is the threshold still 20?
It is for right now.
Okay,
Did you-
good, because you only get 1 threat.
Oh,
Fantastic. I'm actually going to turn that threat into changing the
Increasing
threat
the
threshold.
I was
gonna
going to say
to
that as a
19 to 20.
joke, but you know.
Perrin, what did
no
you
one
get?
knows that Charlie did this. Just saying,
one
no one knows.
success.
1 success. Okay. So, Commander Bex, you hear pretty distinctly the scrape of metal on metal, or metal on stone,
Mhm.
coming from the front door. Commander Valen and Perrin, you both vaguely hear that, but Commander Perrin, I'm sure you set up some sort of detection system that if your stuff was, it's going off. Something is moving the shuttle.
Moving the shuttle.
Commander, we need to attend to the shuttle.
Is he still? Are you still on the shuttle?
No,
I'm with you guys.
He's with you guys.
Okay. I remember you were staying on the shuttle, and then
Yeah, then we decided it would be better to land it and just.
yeah.
have a
I'm going to dart out towards the door.
So kind of what you see are two. They are furry.
No,
But
not
the way
furry.
that like hedgehogs are furry, so they've got like not necessarily spines, but like the hair on their backs is stronger and thicker.
Yeah, they have
and
quills.
Yeah, and the claws on them are similar to like sloth claws, so just huge claws. And the face is some sort of like bear moose equivalent, like you smash together, and it's probably 10.5 foot tall. It's standing on top of the force field tunnel, seemingly unperturbed by the electricity being sent into it. There is another one who is like thrashing the front of the shuttle, like it's hammering its body into it, and then just like taking its fists and pounding into it, which is what's causing it to kind of shift. The shield itself is fine, but these are big creatures, and there's a lot of bulk in them.
Commander, suggestions?
Yeah, well, since you were more alerted to it,
Yeah.
Tap Charlie is like, "Come on!" I tapped him on their back. Is like, "Come on, we gotta go, pack it up." And I go
Just
running.
a few more files. Just a few more files.
No, we gotta go now. There's creatures attacking the ship.
Charlie's running, but he's also holding the computer terminal as he's running.
Sure. Yeah. So like you can see out the front door, and above, on top of the shielding, is one of those creatures standing there, and then you can see you landed the shuttle, so it was kind of like direct line out. That line has now like shifted and turned a little bit. The front of the shuttle has probably moved 8 feet.
So the front of the shuttle is not covered by a shield because it was reconfigured.
It is covered by the
fit.
shield, but it is not anchored to the ground, so it's still
Gotcha.
movable.
But he's not. So there's no damage to the ship yet.
No, not yet.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Your landing struts might be a little rough.
Eh,
Like that's not the end of the world, though.
no.
I'll get those cleaned up, Commander.
Or not. I mean, he did shoot out a probe and let it get destroyed. I'm just saying.
Hey! I said I made it up. I'm gonna make it up. I'm gonna get him a glitter probe. Well, our options are. I don't think our. I'm gonna stare up at the one that's sitting on top of our tunnel, just absorbing electricity. I don't know that our phaser is gonna have much of an impact. Straight into the shuttle and lift off.
When you kind of look up at it, it catches your eyes. You get a sense of the same kind of intelligence you get from a cat. Like, it's smart enough to know that it wants to eat you and that there's a barrier between you and it, but it's also smart enough to know that barriers don't stay.
Powerful look.
Do we have any idea if they would absorb the phasers if we shot them?
So they're. It's not so much that they're absorbing the energy; it's that it's unaffecting them, or it's not affecting them. Like they're just. But most things, if you put it up to kill, do it pretty good. Also, the Jem'Hadar disruptors, they'll kill anything. Like they're built to kill things. So, at least Thosh there is ready.
So when we lay the shield down, it's not like a tunnel fused to the door. It's like we got a little opening, so we can fire out.
No, it is fused kind of to the building. He anchored it to the building so that it would stay there.
Right, so we can't shoot through the shielding.
Not really.
Yeah. I say we make a run for it into the shuttle, and if it cracks through, we start shooting.
Yeah, sounds good.
We can do this one at a time, and the other 4, someone goes through, 4 of us will keep watch.
Yeah.
Next person goes through, we'll keep watch.
Yeah. Thosh leans over and says, "I'll go last."
I figured.
Yeah.
I will go second last.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Commander Parent, I want you to go first so you can make sure that the shield stays up.
Basically, I would like to take in D&D the ready action.
Sure. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Commander
Parent,
the aim action.
I'm gonna need you to roll daring and security. It's gonna be a difficulty of 2.
Okay.
These things are imposing and seem to be causing a great deal of fear when you try and run past them.
Okay.
I'm gonna buy it.
Shoot, I don't have it up, so
That'll put you down at 2.
Do what?
This is Perrin is the one rolling.
Oh, sorry. I thought you.
No, that I realized that when you started looking at stuff, I was like, oh, he thinks I said Valen. It's okay.
Yeah,
it's
I'm sorry.
I got 3 successes because I rolled a 1.
Fantastic. So that'll put you back at 4. Yeah, you feel the fear and push past it, get right in, and start like checking the shields. They are going to buckle eventually if you give it another minute or so, but right now they're stable and you can kind of cycle the shields and do a couple of things to keep them up a little longer. Who's going next?
We'll have
Charlie?
go next. Yep.
So giant creatures, vermin-like.
Sure.
Charlie's got a dumb plan that might work, but it's also a really dumb plan that the fellow players might not like. Is kind of what Charlie would do.
Yeah, do it.
Charlie's going to load up on his tricorder the audio file of the bear creature.
Okay.
I'm going to crank up the volume through the ship's sensor or ship speakers and rock out a roar and try to scare off the creatures.
Give me, we'll say, reason engineering. Difficulty of 2.
No, I'm not as good at engineering. That's 2 successes.
Fantastic. So you do that. They both stand up very straight and look around. Are you going to get in the shuttle then?
Yes.
So you don't need to make a roll then, because they are not focused on you. But as you kind of move, as you move past, I do want to fitness. Let's say daring, fitness and half of daring. It's a really good roll for you.
Oh yeah, so half of fitness and daring.
No, fitness and half of daring.
Oh okay, rounding up.
Round up.
Okay, so that's 5. That's not bad. Yeah, that's a 13. We got this. We hung out with the Klingons. They're all about like running from giant hedgehogs. 2 successes.
Okay. So yeah, you get through without kicking rocks and making a bunch of noise, and get onto the shuttle. That I guess that means Valen, you're next.
Yeah, I would assume so. I mean, I don't think the Klingon or Lonnie will let me be last, so I can at least get the engines ready to take off as soon as the last person's on board. So
I'm gonna spend 2 threat, and as you go to move through, you hear a big snort from the one on top of the shield. It looks at you and then slams its claws into the field, and they come through just the tiniest bit. Perrin, you see the shields drop like 30% in power, and like they're being maintained, but like not for long.
Keep the shields up.
So that would mean, Valen, you're going to need to make a daring. What did I say? Daring security.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds right. Daring security. Difficulty of 2.
Difficulty of 2. Okay. Daring secure. Oh, just made it. That was a 14 and a 4, so that's 2 successes.
2 successes.
And
Fantastic.
14 was my top. That it had to be below 14.
As you move through, it tracks you with its eyes, and goes to kind of like drag its claws, but they pull out of the shield as it does it, and it goes and stands like you. The shuttle creaks as it stands on top of the shuttle, and as you go to like the front to start up the engines and get ready to go, you see the other creature look in at you and climb up on the nose of the shuttle.
Okay.
So that leaves good old Bex. Let's do a daring security, difficulty of 2.
got
Daring
it.
security. All right. I don't take it any of my focuses will aid me in this, will it?
No, not so much. No.
Okay. Well, that is 1 success and a complication.
Fantastic.
We are
So
helping
as-
Matt out too much tonight.
As you start to move forward, the one on top of the back of the shuttle turns and snarls. You feel a great deal of fear just kind of flash over you, and it gives you almost like a half step of like stopping. You continue on, but it kind of leaps up into the air. You know how foxes in the snow jump up
Yeah.
and then die? It does that, and the shields collapse.
Open fire.
Fair.
Full auto.
Before we do that, I guess you guys do get initiative unless I spend threat, which I don't want to do right now. So go ahead, shoot it.
All right.
That sounded like a threat itself. Go ahead, shoot it.
Go ahead, shoot it. I don't care.
Go ahead.
I got 2.
I'm not scared.
All right. So this would be a phaser type 3. That is daring security to fire, I believe.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Well, that is. Well, I get my close combat.
No, close combat is hand to hand. If you want to change that out to phasers sometime later,
Yes.
we can do that. That's not a problem. So
I
let's
thought
just
it-
call it
yeah.
phasers now, and yeah, you can have
Okay.
it.
So that would be 3 successes.
Okay, so you're gonna roll. What is the dice? Do you have that open in front of you?
Yes. With the new phaser, it will be 9 dice,
Perfect. Roll them.
and then. Eight,
I
9.
assume you have this on kill, right?
Yes.
Okay.
We don't incur threat for that for non-sapient life, do we?
No, not at
Okay.
all.
Ooh, that's a lot. So that's 6 there, 7 and 2 effect.
Okay.
So 1, 2, 3. That's 9 baseline damage. And since I didn't use my minor action to alter the phaser, it does not have any bonuses because it has charge, which you have to use a minor action to
Yeah.
change
Yeah.
stuff around.
Yep. So, okay. So you hit it for 9, is what you said?
Yes.
Or no? Okay. Yeah. Some of it seems to kind of dissipate on its outer skin, but it does seem to take a pretty good hit. It spins around a little bit, I'm going to spend 2 of your momentum for you as Thosh, as it kind of spins, comes running up with that mek'leth and just like strikes it across its throat.
Mhm.
And then like,
Oh,
Hmm?
I'm sorry. Since would be a difficulty 2 for ranged weapons, so that would actually be 10 damage, not 9.
okay.
Not that it
it's-
matters that much.
Yeah,
but-
no, that's fine. So yeah, he slashes at its throat. It doesn't, it screeches but doesn't drop, and then kind of doesn't shove you in the shuttle so much as like helps you in the rest of the way to the shuttle and
Mhm.
slaps the door button, and it starts to close as the one on the front starts to hammer on the view screen.
Maybe they're helping us.
I don't think they're helping us.
All right.
Everybody in?
Yes, Thosh is with us, right?
I'm gonna go full power. We're gonna do a full
Okay.
burn.
You're gonna give
Jump
me
into warp.
let's call it a daring and con. It's going to be a difficulty of 4. You're in you're in a downtown area. The ship can assist with structure. I'm sorry, engines and con. Let
I'm
me
just going
double
straight
check
up.
what that looks like.
So daring and con. Okay, 16. This is definitely evasive action.
Sure, we'll call that.
So do we have enough momentum for me to buy dice?
Yeah, we got 2.
Okay. I'm gonna go for 3. If someone wants to roll for ship assist.
Yeah, I got to find the ship. Sorry.
So would someone like to roll for the ship? Because I am having a run of... Neither myself nor Charlie are allowed to roll for the ship, so I believe that leaves Phil to roll for the ship.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right.
It's just 1 dice. I'll figure out what the number is here in a second as soon as I find the I can never find the
Here,
shuttlecraft.
I
in this
rolled a
game.
1, so you know.
Oh,
It doesn't matter what this
that's
dice roll.
Mazel tov.
So, how many successes did you get, Sean?
I got 2, and then 18. We're still not at that. It was,
No, we're
you
not.
lowered it to 19, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. 2
So you got a
successes.
total of 4. 2 from
Yes.
you, 2 from the ship. Okay, so that's what you needed. Yeah, you take off the one on the. You can feel the weight of one on the back, like it grabbed on, but it goes away in like a second or so. The one on the front is still on the front of your ship as you start to fly. It seems to be sliding a little bit, but it's also really good at holding on with those claws. Until you're, I don't know, 75 foot in the air, and then it finally just kind of slides off and falls. And just a cloud. It's a Wile E. Coyotes. Yeah, so you're up in the air.
Dial it back a little bit. We don't need to go quite as fast at this point. I'm gonna start heading back towards the camp.
The reports on this are going to be a joy to write.
Yeah, as you are flying, I need you to make another, we'll call it an evasive action. So daring and con. The ship is going to assist with structure and con, which we'll look that up because I never did find it. It's fine.
The stupid
about it.
birds. Okay, that is going to be. I only rolled 2 dice, so I got 1 crit and an 18. So I got 2
Okay.
successes so far.
Bill, do you want to roll for the ship for structure and con? I'm still looking. I promise I'm going to find it.
I rolled a 7 this time, so
That's
It's
possible.
probably still in it.
It's probably a
You'd
regular.
think so. Shuttlecraft. So what I say, structures and con? Nope, it's a 6.
Oh.
Shuttles are not good. Like, yeah. So that's still the 2 you needed.
Yeah.
You feel something collide with the top, and it sets you into a momentary pitch, and you correct it, and then the 2 birds are kind of flying around near you.
Can
You
I shoot at them?
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be control and security, difficulty of 2, and the shuttle will assist hypothetically with weapons and security, which is
4.
well, you have to roll a 1 for the ship.
Well, I rolled
I'm
2
using up all my
successes.
good rolls on these impossible.
Yeah. So 2 successes, that's enough. Yeah. Roll your dice, which you don't have because I have to give you that information.
Yep.
Bird just goes poof.
I'm just hoping if we injure them, they're like, there's probably easier meals somewhere else.
So you'll roll 5 dice plus, so 6 dice. Or no, I'm sorry, no. 4 dice.
4 dice.
4 dice, and it's versatile too, which means that you, I believe, get access to vicious.
I think I can also do versatile damage effects. Intense. I do not see versatile. Qualities, maybe? It's possible that I'm only on the weapons and not the...
Yeah, no. I'm looking here.
Yeah. Because if we can do area and I can hit both of them.
That's a good point. Yeah, you can choose area instead. That's fine.
Okay. Alright, so that is 4 damage and an effect.
Okay, so you get the effect is what you needed. Did you count the 1 damage for the effect?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Okay, so 4 damage, and you hit both of them in a quick, like wide beam.
Mm-hmm.
They don't drop, but they back off a bunch and kind of like stop.
Yeah.
And it gives you a chance to kind of fly away. Where are you headed?
The camp.
Okay. As you head back to the camp, nothing, like the sky is still pretty empty. Like those 2 birds were the only ones, and they left you alone. And you land down in front of at the same place you took off from. And not Talus, is that right? Vittel. I don't know how I got Talus. Vittel comes out to meet you. Says and like looks at the shuttlecraft, and like walks up and like runs his hand down one of the big gouges in the metal as you come out, and he says, so you all came back. That's a positive.
Yeah, they're not something to play with, are they?
No, they are not. Well, I hope you got everything you needed. Everyone here is pretty ready. I assume your ship can beam us up?
Yeah. Yes. Let me contact the ship, and we will start beaming you guys up. I don't know if we're going to have enough quarters for everybody. Some of you might have to camp in one of our cargo holds, but we should be able to get to the starbase fairly quickly, so it shouldn't be that.
He laughs a little bit, and he says, cargo hold from what we've been in will be nice. You have sonic showers, right?
Oh, yeah. And I'm pretty sure we can get you guys some time on the holodeck, and we've got an hour.
Excellent. That will be fine. As you...
I like how the commander likes to open up our holodeck access to just everybody who comes on the ship, you know?
Yeah.
You want our holodeck technologies? Come on, right on here.
Yeah, as you contact the ship, they start beaming up. And take note of the village. It's pretty empty now. That like most of the effects that they would have wanted are gone. There's bits and pieces here. There's left things here and there, but really, they're just beaming. They beam straight to the ship. Is there anything else on the planet you wanted to do?
We all look at Charlie.
I figure we're probably going to send a actual group of Starfleet scientists to this planet to study it and help.
Potentially,
Yeah.
with the
but-
local fauna.
Mhm.
Maybe maybe not. Like,
Yeah, well, we can get like those ultrasonic things what keep pests and vermin away.
sure.
At least we should probably clean up the antimatter weapons because if those
Yeah.
proliferate, bad.
Yeah, take
Yeah.
down the weapons platforms and all that fun stuff.
Okay.
Well, I think we can turn them off. I guess we're going to do.
Oh,
If they want to self-destruct.
You dropped out. I didn't hear a lot of that.
Oop, did I drop out?
Yeah, just the like you were moving just normal. Just I think
Sorry,
the mic wasn't picking you up quite right.
that's weird. I think we'll turn them off, but I think we're going to wait for command to decide if they're going to just self-destruct them,
Yeah,
research those, or whatnot. Because honestly, that was pretty great cloaking technology for archaic tech.
And Federation could get access to that because
No, you can't.
why
It's a
not?
violation of the Treaty of Algernon. The Romulans are friendly, and you're allowed to use cloaking technology in the Gamma Quadrant, but that's it. Like, they're real weirdly specific.
Weirdly enough, this isn't cloaking technology, it's masking technology. It's kind of the Pepsi to the Coke, you know?
Oh, yeah. This is new Coke. It's a totally different formula.
This is robing technology.
No. This is RC.
Oh, yeah. Royal Canadian.
Yeah.
I was going to say Romulan cloaking, but...
What was so that you guys are just headed back to the ship?
I mean, unless Charlie wants to do like a quick lap around the lower atmosphere to see if there's anything else. Yeah, I don't know that we have anything else.
We could get some topography of the planet, but if there's giant monsters, like, you know, I know we're meeting outside the planet's atmosphere, but, you know, whatever's safest, because Charlie is feeling a little bad about nearly killing everybody. A giant kaiju.
Yeah.
I think we get the topography real quick.
As you kind of fly around and get a little bit of the topography, you do see the crash site of the Jem'Hadar ship. It's 2.5 kilometers. It's like southwest of the village or the camp. Is that somewhere you want to stop and go check out, or are you just going to leave it?
Probably check it out.
Okay.
Just to recover it, and, you know.
Quickly. Let's do it quickly.
Okay. I was waiting for Commander Valen to say something because he's got this look on his face like, I don't know.
We'll see if
I've played too much with you, Matt. I know that there's something horrible down there. As a player.
As you guys land near the ship, and after a quick tricorder sweep, because I'm sure Charlie is on top of it now, there are no predators in the area. The ship has been... I'm sorry?
Is it yet?
Yeah. The ship has been pretty picked clean of the superstructure. The interior is... There's a lot of bad damage from the crash. The communication array is destroyed. There is data bank that could be extracted that might be intact. It's hard to tell. That would be an engineering thing to figure out. But you do see the body of a Vorta that has clearly been executed. Like, it couldn't scream executed any more than it already does. And then there are Jem'Hadar kind of both inside and outside of the ship that have just been... The bodies have been left to rot.
Well... Pulling anything from the data core, that's not a violation of treaties currently, is it?
I mean...
That was going to be my question.
First of all, it's only a violation if you get caught. Second of all, it's real vague. This would be considered a wartime find because it was during the war, so that could be argued. I mean, I think we've established the treaty is solid and black and white, except for a lot of gray everywhere.
Yep. Cool.
So, like, you could claim the information. It's probably nothing up to date, but also who knows what the information could be on there.
You could have information on other Federation ships or prison colonies that they haven't released yet. So I'll give the order to start pulling the data.
Okay. Tobin, can you give me all control and engineering Computers is going to apply. Technical expertise is going to apply. It's going to be a difficulty of 4. We do have 2 momentum still.
Can I say I'm winging it? It's one of my values to get access and get 2 successes.
Oh, yeah, sure. You don't have enough momentum to spend to get that back, FYI. Commander.
Oh yeah, no, I was tracking that.
Okay. Yeah, so you got your 2 successes. You roll your 2 dice.
Yeah. What's our threat range?
19.
Oh, okay. Well then, I just didn't get any successes.
Okay. You are able to pull some information off of the databanks. They are pretty rough. The crash destroyed some some of them. You're not sure how good the information is going to be, but that's also something for security and intelligence to go over. But you pull everything you can off of it. You do note that this ship had a flight plan that went near this system, and there was engine trouble that pulled them out of warp, and they were going to the planet to land and fix it.
So it just happenstance.
Yeah. But yeah, you pull the information. When you guys come out of the ship, kind of at a distance, there are 2 large, like almost a brontosaurus style lizard, about half that size. So they're still pretty big, but not that big. Kind of just biting leaves off of trees and watching your ship with curiosity.
Are those relatives? I kind of half jokingly say to Charlie.
He says is equally joking.
I think we need to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you fly back up to the ship, where you find that all of the Cardassians and Romulans have been put into 2 separate cargo bays under guard because they're Tal Shiar and Obsidian Order.
Yes.
And so that's a thing. The Federation crew members have been given actual rooms, and the Klingon is just free to do what he wants. They put him in a room, they give him a quarters, but give him some space and let him do what he wants. He ends up going into to the holodeck for a very long time and fighting lots of things.
I would just stop and talk with Vital. Say, I hope you understand the security measures. You are Tal Shiar.
It would be foolish to do anything else.
And I would do the same with the Cardassians too.
Oh, of course. We are the Tal Shiar are known, and I recognize that.
I'll see if I can scrounge up
security.
I'll see if I can scrounge up a bottle of Kanar for you guys to enjoy.
Kanars for Cardassians. You mean Romulan ale?
No. I wouldn't talk to the Cardassians.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
And I'll offer the Romulans some Romulan ale.
Yeah. It's not like anybody's going to get sick and pass out from it this time.
Not this time.
So yeah. You as you guys are kind of flying out of the system and going into warp, Bex, you are kind of doing your rounds, making sure the security is tight on both of the cargo hold. Thash comes up and meets you kind of in a hallway. He says, Commander?
Call me Lonnie. What's up?
He pulls a dagger out of his belt and hands it to you hilt first, and he says, you have done a great service for the House Kagra. Mm-hmm. I wanted to express my appreciation, and if you need something from the house in the future, you need but ask.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I will react appropriately, or at least whatever the
Yeah.
Federation has told me is an appropriate reaction to Klingons.
Yeah, and like after giving like this very formal talk to you,
Mhm.
he kind of gives you a good punch on the shoulder and says, "Do you want to go to the holodeck with me?"
Oh, sounds great.
Fantastic. So yeah, you go down to the holodeck and fight lots of things.
Mhm.
He tries to recreate the creatures. They don't come out well, like he
Mhm.
just, but they're still pretty fierce.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's you guys fly back to Starbase Gamma 1, and that's where we're going to kind of end for tonight. Don't forget, tomorrow night is the beginning of the Redemption podcast being on this channel for Smuggler's Blues. It is that Edge of Empire actual play. That's going to be every other week, so it'll be this Tuesday, and then again on the 5th. We will be back next week with an episode whose name I don't have yet, but we'll figure it out. So definitely come back out for that. Otherwise, thank you guys for coming out tonight and watching. We really appreciate it. Hope we entertained you and you had a good time. So have a great night.
Night.